Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your July 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. I recommend that you watch your horoscope for your ascendant sign, your sun, and your moon sign. The differences are that the Virgo horoscope will pertain to all areas of your life if you are a Virgo rising or ascendant. So this would be the most accurate overall, but the sun sign horoscope will tell you more about your life goals and your career, whereas the moon sign horoscope will tell you more about your relationships, your property and living circumstances, as well as your emotional health and well-being. So on the 2nd of July, we're going to see Mars in Aries in your 8th house, squaring Pluto in Capricorn in your 5th house, and the square will take place at 27 degrees. So I would recommend that you look back to around the 3rd of March to see what sort of things you were initiating around this period of time, or certain themes that may have been cropping up for you. And I'm saying that because on the 3rd of March, we had the Mars and Pluto conjunction at 27 degrees in Capricorn. So this will be the opening square that follows on from that conjunction. Now, these kinds of squares between Mars and Pluto can be a tricky energy to navigate. So you may be feeling a little more emotional around this period of time. Essentially, squares indicate some kind of conflict that we are experiencing. Now, this can be due to outer circumstances or our inner drive and motivations being at odds or at ends with some sort of psychological impulse. So basically, we're looking at Pluto being in your 5th house. So with the 5th house representing fun and leisure time, your hobbies and passions, as well as creativity, romance, and children, this can be something that you are tightly controlling or that you are experiencing as being out of control in your life. So I'm saying this because Pluto carries the energy of control and making us feel um, ashamed or as though someone has power over us. So basically, these areas of your life may be struggling, for want of a better term, or you may just feel like you do not have access to your usual level of creativity, or that you are being blocked in some way, shape, or form with respect to your dating and romantic life. Or maybe you're just feeling as though it's harder for you to experience joy and happiness. So basically, the square to Mars in Aries represents the key to unlocking our potential in this area. Now, if it was a trine to Mars, it would be easier for you to break out of this rut or this funk, if you will, but the square means that it's challenging for you. So the vehicle or the avenue through which you can pursue experiencing more love and romance, experiencing greater or an improved relationship with your children, or feeling more creativity. We can do this by attending therapy, doing some deep healing and shadow work, as they call it. You need to address any addictions or fears that you have. Now, when I say need to, I mean you can choose not to and just ignore it, but then this dissatisfaction with those other areas of life may persist. So basically, there may be this impulse that you have, or this drive that you have to improve how much enjoyment you derive from life and your hobbies and passions and your romantic life. And yet, the ways in which you can be successful in breaking the shackles or breaking the mold is quite an uncomfortable process, because Mars in the 8th house is asking you to dig beneath the surface, lift the veil, really be proactive and assertive in addressing any past traumas that you have experienced, and any kind of psychological discomfort that you are experiencing. Now, on the 5th of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Taurus, which means it will be transiting your 9th house, and it will be there until the 20th of August. So wherever Mars goes, this represents where we are placing our energy or our focus. We can experience challenges in these areas, but challenges can lead to opportunities. So essentially, the 9th house rules over education and higher learning. It rules over travel, going on adventures and journeys. The 9th house also rules over our belief systems of all kinds, whether these are religious, spiritual, political, or just your world beliefs, how you literally believe that the world works. Now, the 9th house is also connected to publishing and the law. So I'm just going to run through a few different ways that Mars in Taurus in your 9th house can play out. You may be wanting to educate yourself further when it comes to finances and taxes and resources. And I'm saying this because Mars rules over your 8th house. So, in that respect, Mars is connected to, well, the 8th house represents mutual resources. So, these are to do with taxes, and Taurus is the sign of money and resources anyway. So basically this can see you wanting to learn more about these things, and even if you have a basic level of knowledge surrounding these topics, the 9th house is about going a step further. So this can be taking on some sort of formal education or training, or perhaps you are consulting with a coach who can assist you with understanding these matters. Now, Mars ruling over the 8th house also indicates the occult. So think astrology, Reiki healing, numerology, and so on and so forth. So this can see you potentially consulting with an astrologer or with someone who works in the occult. Maybe you are becoming the pupil or the student of someone who can teach you in these areas. And on a different note, Mars in your 9th house can see you wanting to pursue some sort of international travel trip, or perhaps you want to learn about other cultures. You may want to learn another language, and this is indicated by Mars being in your 9th house and also Mars ruling over your 3rd house. So we're tying in languages, other cultures, and education and training. Now, on a different note, looking at religious, spiritual, and just your belief systems in general, there can be some sort of deprogramming or deconditioning, unconditioning, whatever it is, or you're trying to unlearn something. And I'm saying this because Mars represents breaking something or cutting it out of our lives. Now, Mars rules over the 3rd house, over the 8th house. So this is indicative of you having a sudden change in your belief systems. So maybe you're trying to search for the truth. And in doing so, this can see you stepping away from a certain religion or a certain set of beliefs. Or perhaps there's even a shift in your moral code and your ethics that is coming through. Now, with the 9th house representing publishing and Mars representing you taking action, this can see you pursuing getting published. And of course, with Mars ruling over your 3rd house, which represents connections, maybe you are getting in touch with someone who you know through business or through work, or this could even be in your local community or neighborhood. And perhaps you're actually submitting a communications piece to a publisher for review. And again, this would be seen by Mars ruling over the 3rd house, which represents your communications pieces. Lastly, with this transit, we've got the 9th house representing the law. So this could see you initiating legal proceedings. this could actually see you taking business connections or even relatives to court, because we've got Mars ruling over the third house, and Mars represents being assertive, taking initiative, and fighting as well. And with Mars ruling over your eighth house, which represents inheritances, taxes, alimony, and child support, maybe you are initiating legal proceedings in order to receive mutual resources that you believe are rightfully yours. Now, on the 13th of July, Venus in Gemini in your 10th house is going to make a trine to Saturn in Aquarius in your 6th house. So trines are what we like to see in astrology because they represent a helpful, beneficial energy, which represents flow and something going well for us. Trines carry the energy of Jupiter, and in this way, they can bring forth some sort of blessing or prosperity into our lives. So, the 10th house represents our career, our reputation, our status, as well as our higher or worldly responsibilities and duties. And then the 6th house is also connected to vocation, your work, but also your day-to-day habits, your health, and your routines. So in one way, you may be forming a new partnership. There could be an improvement to your current contract, whether this is you receiving more money or more benefits somehow or more resources. That could certainly be coming through with this transit. Venus represents wealth, and Venus rules over your second house, which is Libra. So again, this represents not just financial wealth, but materials, possessions, and resources of all kinds. So the trine to Saturn in Aquarius represents there being some sort of deficit that's being covered, or perhaps a loan or a debt which is being waived. And again, this is just indicative of the fact that your current employment contract could improve. You could receive a new contract. There may be a new boss who starts at your work because we're looking at Venus in your 10th house. This person could be very friendly. They could be a friend. They could become a friend of yours in the future, or they could simply be female or have a feminine energy, which is very this person could be very easy for you to get along with, because we're looking at a trine between two air signs. In some way, shape, or form, there could just be more stability in your work, or you're deriving more enjoyment from your work. And maybe some of you are finally deciding to work for yourself. And I'm saying this because Saturn in your 6th house represents you having this stability in work opportunities. It also rules over your 5th house, which represents you owning your own business. And with Venus in your 10th house, this can be a change in status and reputation. Maybe you're receiving a lot of support to become your own boss or work for yourself. On a different level, you may be encouraged to leave your workplace behind, or perhaps you are having some time off from work. So with Saturn in your 6th house, your boss or perhaps your co-workers could be covering your workload to allow you the opportunity to take a little bit of a back seat when it comes to work. With Venus ruling over your 9th house, this could be related to travel opportunities. This could be related to educational opportunities. And on a different note, someone could just be helping you with your resume. Now, I understand that not all of you are going to be currently employed looking for work. Maybe you've retired. There are a few different ways that this transit can impact you. There may be more structure in your daily habits and routines, and this could have a very positive and visible impact on you and your public image in general. You could receive help in a structured way which supports your public image. your health could stabilize. So this could be actually seen as a change in your health status. And I'm saying this because the sixth house represents your work and your 10th house represents your status just in general. So I just want to break this down for you. You know, the 10th house represents statements that follow I am. So you could say, you know, I am married, I am divorced, I am employed. You know, all of these I am phrases represent things which are definitive with respect to your public image. So when it comes to receiving some sort of like positive improvement with your health, and you know, this could be in an official capacity. You know, maybe you are being told that you are cured of something, or that you are now able to have more mobility or freedom. So your health is like permitting you to take on new opportunities. And I'm also saying this because Venus rules over your ninth house, which represents freedom in all respects. So moving on to the 17th/18th of July, we're going to see Venus entering the sign of Cancer, which means it will be transiting your 11th house. And it's going to be there until the 11th of August. So we've got with Venus in the 11th house, first of all, this can see you making new friends, new connections. Sorry, that's a loud truck outside. Nonetheless, new friends could be made, new connections can be formed. There can be new collaborative opportunities that come through during this period of time. Venus rules over your ninth house, so this person could live abroad. They could have a very different cultural background to you. They could have some sort of power to influence other people. They could just be a very influential figure as it is, or someone who is very refined and someone whom you can learn a lot from. Now, on a different note, with this person, whether this is a new friendship or just like a new acquaintance that you've made or a new business connection, you could be bonding with them or collaborating with them over second house and ninth house things and matters. So to break that down, with Venus ruling over your second house, it could be that you bond with this person about the five senses. So maybe this is to do with enjoying the same restaurants, having the same tastes. Maybe you just like shopping with this person. Maybe you enjoy cooking with this person. You could be sharing recipes, you know, from your culture to theirs. Or you could have a very vested interest in finances, because the second house rules over finances. It also rules over collections and history. So maybe you have a shared interest with this person about something that you both collect. Maybe you're stamp collectors, or maybe you both have an interest in the same period of time with respect to history. Now, with Venus ruling over the ninth house, with this new, you know, friendship or connection, you could be interested in the same, you could have the same religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, or you could have the same interest in a culture or traveling to a certain place. And I just want to say that it doesn't necessarily need to be a new friendship or connection that's coming through. Maybe this is someone who is already sort of in your wider network or in your peripheral, and now that you have an opportunity to speak to this person, you're discovering that you have a lot of shared mutual interests with them. Now, on a different note, you could be working on a long-term project or in a large scale project, and this could involve collaborating with another person. You could receive help from someone in your network just with respect to offering you advice. This could involve travel. You could be investing money in a long-term goal or in a long-term project. A friend or someone in your network could be financially supporting your project that you are pursuing. Now, this could see you being invited to join a new group or a new community, and financially speaking, just lastly on this transit, this can see you generating a new passive form of income. So this could see you increasing your finances. And I'm saying this because Venus represents money and resources. The 11th house is a money house, and Venus rules over your second house, and the second house represents your finances anyway. Now, some of you may be, I think I already said these things, but receiving financial support or resources from friends. This could be from your social media platform or network. And some of you could even be winning a prize. You could be receiving prize money. And I would definitely recommend that if you're interested in like winning competitions, that you do like those online ones. I used to do these all the time when I was a teenager, and I won like 4 or 5 competitions just by writing in 25 words or less like what my opinion was on XYZ. So that was a good time. Now, on the 28th/29th of July, Jupiter is going to station retrograde in the sign of Aries at 8 degrees, and this will be in your 8th house. So, Jupiter first entered Aries on the 10th of May. And by the way, Jupiter has not been in Aries in your 8th house for 12 years-ish. So, basically, whatever you have learned or whatever you have started to pursue from the 10th of May until now, this can see you focusing more energy and attention onto these areas or onto these matters. Maybe you tried to pursue certain things and now you're needing to double down on your efforts. So, with the 8th house ruling over mutual resources, this could see you attempting to combine or perhaps receive resources in the following ways. So you could be joining bank accounts with another person, first of all. And I'm saying this because Jupiter rules over your 7th house. So this could be with your significant other. This could be with a business partner. Maybe you're opening up a business account together and joining, your resources in that way, or your assets in some way, shape, or form. On a different note, Jupiter rules over your 4th house. So you could be working towards getting both of your names on the same title. So there could be a conversation about buying property together. That's another way that this could play out. The 8th house is also connected to alimony, child support, inheritances, as well as tax returns. I just want to say that Jupiter actually likes to be in the 8th house because Jupiter represents wealth and abundance and prosperity. So maybe you have initiated the process for one or more of those aforementioned things, but maybe you're not going to see the effects take place until Jupiter has re-entered the sign of Aries, which will be on the 20th of December. And it could even take you until Jupiter leaves Aries altogether, which will be in May 2023. Now, Jupiter also represents freedom and liberation. So Jupiter through the 8th house could actually see you trying to become free of your need to pay alimony money or child support money. And for some of you, you could be going through a legal process to try and obtain an inheritance which has been bequeathed to you. And this could even be a property as well, because Jupiter rules over your 4th house, which is connected to property. Or perhaps someone is helping you to expand your property portfolio. Now, on a different level, for those of you who are in a committed relationship or who are married, this can see your significant other being promised an increase in their salary or in their financial situation. Maybe they're being promised more resources, but again, the promise could be there or the intention could be there, but they may not be able to actualize this and receive this increase in their finances or in their resources until either the end of this year, or let's just say like in the first quarter of next year. Now, lastly, with this transit, some of you may have been embarking on a journey to overcome a certain addiction or fear. And I just want to give you guys encouragement that Jupiter through the 8th house represents your ability to heal from things and to be free of things. So you could be working with a psychologist and you could, or going to therapy in some way, shape, or form, and you could find that you heal from a certain situation or from a past trauma. You could be liberated from an addiction. You could overcome a fear. And some of you may be going through a counseling process or a therapy process, especially because Jupiter rules over the 7th house. And the same can be said for the occult and astrology and tarot and Reiki and all of those things. So maybe you're receiving one-to-one coaching, or maybe you're actually maybe you've engaged the services of a teacher who's helping you in those matters. Now, lastly, for the month, this is the most exciting transit it's one of the most exciting transits for the whole of 2022. Let me just say that. And that is the Uranus, North Node, and Mars conjunction. So this will occur in the sign of Taurus. This will be in your 9th house. Uranus and the North Node will be at 18 degrees Taurus. Mars will be at 17 degrees Taurus. So it's still worth considering the activities of Mars and the impact that Mars has with respect to this transit. Now, let me just run through the similarities and the differences between Uranus, the North Node, and Mars. Uranus represents unexpected change, sudden downloads of information. It represents large groups, large communities. It is connected to humanitarian causes. And then we've got the North Node representing a very experimental energy, something which is a bit shocking, kind of like Uranus. The North Node will bring something new to the house that it is transiting. And then we've also got Mars ruling over engineering and taking action. And what these three have in common is that in some way, shape, or form, they are all connected to new inventions, new innovations. And we've got Uranus and the North Node both being connected to technology. So basically, this can see you experimenting or pioneering or breaking new ground with respect to education, higher learning, travel, going on an adventure, going on a journey, learning about other cultures, experimenting with other cultures and religious beliefs and spiritual beliefs. This can see you pursuing getting published or reaching an international market in some way. And because we've got Mars ruling over your 3rd house, this could be you putting your website out there, or an app that you've developed, or an invention that you have created. And this could receive a lot of international attention somehow. Just like with Mars transiting the 9th house and what I said earlier in the horoscope, again, we see there being some kind of deprogramming that is going on for you guys. And just by the way, we only see the Uranus and North Node conjunction occur every 15 to 16 years. So this is actually a new chapter that is starting, which is going to pave the way for what you can see come through into your life over the course of the next 15 years. So you may have some radical new beliefs. You may have shocking new beliefs. You may believe in things that you never thought were even possible. And this can see you breaking away from a certain religious upbringing or some sort of beliefs that you feel that you were, indoctrinated into with respect to the 9th house and travel and adventure and freedom. This can see you pursuing a travel opportunity, and with Mars ruling over your 3rd house, this could be with relatives, this could be with siblings, friends, a small team or group of people, This could be co-workers as well. You could be doing some very deep research, which requires you to expand your horizons via going on some sort of adventure, journey, pilgrimage, or to, travel abroad. And also, the ninth house represents the law. So this could see you getting some kind of movement together. Maybe this is forming a petition or you're lobbying for something. And I'm saying this because the ninth house is also connected to um, political views and beliefs, and Uranus rules over a large group or community of people. So you could be involved in or spearheading some kind of lobbying movement, or, like I said, taking on the legal system in a way that's never been done before. Lastly, with this transit, something that you have written with respect to Mars ruling over your third house of communications, or technology that you have developed, something that you have invented, could go viral. And this could lead to international travel opportunities. This could lead to new education or teaching or even coaching opportunities. So, Virgo, that's all I have for you for July 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give this video a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, Virgo, and I will see you next month in August when it is your season.